You're going to want to check this out. 5 ways wealthy people use debt to become richer. Have you ever heard the phrases, pay off all your debt, don't have any debt, or debt is the root of all evil? These infamous lines plant unnecessary fear in the minds of people who want to become rich. This mindset makes people believe that getting into debt will turn them into slaves. But how much of this is really true? Before we dive into an in-depth discussion on debt and how having debt is not as bad as people make it out to be, please like the video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications to get updates on our latest content. You may think that drowning in debt is the worst thing. Debt branches out like vines. Even when you're bending over backward just to pay off your debt, it keeps growing because debt always comes with a price. That is, in the form of interest. Fear not, as I have great news for you. The whole of the United States is said to have a total consumer debt of about $15 trillion. Taking this number into account, the average household debt amounts to over $5,300. Considering that the US GDP is roughly $21 trillion, we can conclude that the entirety of the United States economy consists of debt. Put simply, debt isn't completely bad. It could be the start of something incredible. This may be unheard of, but debt can be classified into 2 kinds. The good kind of debt is where credit card debt, car loans, and perhaps student debt fall under. You could be stressing yourself out, thinking that your whole life would be spent trying to pay off all these debts. That is anything but good, isn't it? For you to start seeing debt in a positive light, let's take a look at how wealthy people take advantage of debt to multiply the money they already have. You might be wondering, why on earth would an already rich person choose to owe money? Debt was originally made for people who do not have a lot. That is not at all how capitalism works. Let us talk about the 5 ways you can take advantage of debt. Who knows, you could become the next wealthiest person. Let's begin the countdown from number 5. While most people might think starting up a business using borrowed money is controversial and not so much of a good idea, most of the trade is based on debt. It may sound absurd, but there are many top businesses, some of which are traditional ones, that are made possible because of debt. In the past, if you wanted to start selling something, say pens, you would have to look for a manufacturer that produces quality pens that do not exceed your budget. Proceed to buy them in bulk and have them shipped to you so that you can begin dispensing them to your clients. At present, most of the transactions take place online through different websites like Amazon, Alibaba, and the like. Business people rarely fly overseas unless they are in for a complicated transaction. Where does debt come in? There are instances where you can acquire products without you having to pay for them first. How, you ask? For the longest time, China has transformed into the world's biggest factory. China produces practically everything you're looking for, from the most minute items to the most massive ones. Now for the factories to distribute their products and reach their target market, they willingly loan them to businesses and give them ample time to pay for the items. It is important though that you gain the supplier's trust, so they wouldn't be too reluctant. When the factories realize that you're helping them make money, they would allow you to borrow more products. It becomes a routine. They produce and you sell. Not only are you able to establish your own business, but you can also earn more, even without taking money out of your pocket. Once you master the art of selling, you can build more businesses and earn more. All that without putting your hard-earned money on the line. Number 4. The best kind of debt is one that's full of loopholes. An example of this is refinancing debt in the industry of real estate. You may not be aware of this, but people who have a lot of money almost always have several mortgages. This is to avoid payments of extra taxes. Keep in mind that the amount that does not go to your taxes and ends up in your savings is the same amount you earn. Let's get more practical. Imagine you were able to gather $200,000. It may seem like a huge sum, but it isn't even enough for you to own a house. What you can do instead is use the 200 grand to partially pay for a property that needs renovation. You get a mortgage by settling a down payment of 20 and using 10% of the total expenses to make changes and improve the property. Once it is ready for use, you can either rent the property out or sell it at a much higher price than you bought it for. You return to your bank and refinance the mortgage you initially got. If that property was only $1 million, after all the renovations, its market value will increase by $200,000. By renting it out, you can earn income without having to do anything, and you can be exempted from paying taxes since you have a mortgage. Before we go to number 3, and if you want to make some quick cash, then you can click on the link in the description of this video. You can make some money fast with no experience required. Alright, back to our countdown. Number 3. If you still have not familiarized yourself with hedge funds, let me tell you a thing or two about them. Hedge funds are created by the wealthy for the wealthy to make the wealthy even wealthier. These are made through less known strategies. Ordinary people often make poor attempts to forecast which companies are capable of growing and increasing their value, so they blindly invest the money they worked so hard for. Hedge funds work differently altogether. They prey on companies on the verge of going bankrupt and collapsing, as in the case of GameStop. Due to problems brought about by people who challenge hedge funds, the company lost over $13 billion. Another example would be Apple. After Apple made it known to the public that they would be prioritizing privacy and wouldn't be allowing certain applications like Facebook and Instagram to track the user's online activity, people expected Instagram stocks to decline. So how do hedge funds earn money through debt? The best way to go about this is to borrow a single stock from a broker and sell it immediately for, let's say, $100. The next week comes and you find out that Instagram stock price is reduced to $70. You can now use the $100 to purchase a stock and return it to your broker. And boom, that's $30 earned already. It might be difficult, but the key is having wise analysts who are experts in the market working for you to take back the money you spent and multiply it by 100-fold, maybe even 1,000-fold. Number 2. Forex is a channel that makes international trade possible. You can use this to purchase foreign currencies that continuously fluctuate. If you have foreign employees, you can make use of Forex to pay them in their preferred currency. Anyone can enter this market and buy international currencies. So if you can foretell which currencies are bound to inflate or deflate, you can earn a huge sum of money. For instance, once the Fed increases interest rates, that will minimize the dollar supply in the market and make US dollars superior to other currencies. You can make tons of money. Another noteworthy thing about Forex is that for every dollar used for trading, $100 can be borrowed on top of that. So someone who uses $1,000 for trade can get an additional $100,000. Even a 3% profit would make a big difference. Just be very careful. People can also lose money fast if they don't know what they're doing. So before you enter any type of business, make sure you're knowledgeable enough to be able to handle any problem that may arise. Number 1. Another important asset is a credit score. Even the most successful entrepreneurs utilize this, especially those who are already well known in the industry and have proven their reliability and their skills in handling businesses and monetary matters. Borrowing money has become a norm and is practiced by almost every individual who wants to put up a business or is in the middle of expanding one. Naturally, a debt with a high interest rate is bad. as in the case of most credit card debts. What you can do to lower these rates is establish a track record that will not arouse doubts in the mind of the person you are borrowing from. Generally, having debt is not a disadvantage. It is up to you how you make use of debts to prosper, improve your way of life, and better the situation you are in. It is also a matter of earning the trust of your creditors and having a clean record as far as money is concerned. You prove to them that you are responsible and that they made the right choice of letting you owe them. There is an infinite amount of money standing in the bank, waiting for someone to borrow them. Yes, debt is a powerful tool. However, whether it becomes a profit or a loss lies in your hands. Do you think you can use debt to your advantage? Let us know through the comment section. Again, don't forget to press that thumbs up button, and we'll see you next time.